Hi everyone, welcome again to another episode of Pause for Clarity. Today we are talking relationships. And the topic for today is, should I stay or should I go? So this is what it sounds like. Should we divorce or should I stay? I feel so confused. Things are not going well in my marriage. They haven't for years, and I've just reached a point where I need to make a decision. I will stay with my husband if he can change. And my children love their dad very much and they need him. I don't. I look at my parents' relationship and I can't see that for us. The care is just not there. He also won't be able to provide for me financially. My fear is for my children. How will they cope? The kids are going to get hurt, and my daughter is turning 11 now, and it is a bad time to go through a divorce. And on top of all of that, I'm not taking care of myself. I'm gaining weight. I look ugly, fat. I just don't see the point. Who should I dress up for? I know I'm the one who needs to decide whether to stay in an unhappy, unfulfilled marriage or to walk out, start over. Both feel helpless to me. I just don't know anymore. So relationships are complicated, period. But just to give you a little bit of background, so did you know that a significant percentage of couples divorce within the first 5 years of their marriage? And another statistics show that between 48% of marriages divorces emotionally, and 50% of couples divorce, which means that there is only like a 3 to 5% of couples that stay happily married. Frightening, isn't it? You can just look around at your friends. You can just look around in social media, how many people are getting divorced. It is staggering to see. So I can completely understand where you're coming from. I can understand the uncertainty behind all of this. And I really want to thank you for your question. So you start by saying that you would stay with your husband if he can change. Here is the absolute raw truth. He won't change. You cannot change another person. It is not possible. So let's quickly test this theory, right? Let's say, looking at yourself, you want to make a few changes of your own, right? So it can be something small, like maybe I want to stop being so negative all the time. Or, you know what, I actually want to wake up earlier every morning. How's that going for you? How's that going for you? Because if it is so difficult for us to work on ourselves, how on earth are you going to change another person? I'm telling you, it is not possible. And this is one of the insights that I want to give you is we are all trying. We are so focused on our partners to make them change, to see a change in them. You know, if only they will change, then our relationship will be so much better. They are not going to change. It's not in your power to change them because they don't think the same as you. They don't have the same experience as you. They did not grow up in the same household or with the same background as you. You are two different people with two different mindsets. You think differently and you operate differently because of what you have experienced in your life. And then another thing that you've mentioned here is about the financial aspect. So my guess here is that it's not necessarily that he can't look after you financially. It is more that he cannot look after you emotionally. However, that is how you feel, right? And this right here is the key. But I'll get back to this in a second. And then you mentioned that you fear for your children. So this is a topic that I can actually make a whole video about just alone, about kids and divorce. The reality is, yes, your kids are going to get hurt. It is never a right time for a divorce. There's no such thing as a right time. Divorce hurts whether you initiate it or not. It hurts. And at some point, the kids are going to be in a household with a single parent, trying to make ends meet, trying to pick up the pieces, and going to give their kids less of their time. That is a reality for a lot of people going through a divorce. So yes, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Divorce is hard on kids. Kids will get hurt. And even as adults, People still sit with hurts and still is trying to actually heal from their parents' divorce. That is also reality. And you can let me in the comments if this is you. If you are still struggling with your own parents' divorce, even if you are an adult, put it in the comments because this is a real thing. So there are many things that I can mention here. But what I also want to tell you is that kids are resilient. Kids can adapt very easily, very quickly. And another thing that I want to mention here is that I don't think a lot of people actually know is when your kids grow up in two separate homes, they also learn different skills. So there is always a positive with a negative. We always end up with a negative. That is where our focus normally lies, but there is also a positive side to the kids with adapting. They adapt in a different way, so they learn different skills. And the bottom line is we all have baggage from our parents, all of us. There's not one single parent that has not got baggage from their childhood, from their experiences, from their parents. And one thing that I told myself the moment when I got my kids is that it is my responsibility to tell my kids one day that they need to go and sort out the issues that we've caused. I've also been through a divorce. My kids are going to sit with those scars, but it is, at the end of the day, it is each and every person's responsibility to get that healing from the past hurt that you've experienced, whether it is your parents that divorced, whether it is you going through a divorce. That is what I'm going to teach my kids one day, is that you need to take responsibility for what life gave you. And that is a very important thing to know. At some point, we cannot control. Let me put it this way. Every parent is trying their very best for their child with the knowledge that they have at the time. That is very, very important to understand. So there's no parents that wants to harm their kids. It is just that they are sitting with their issues and they are putting it onto you as a child. And that is where the problem comes in. But at the end of the day, whatever happened to you, whatever happened in your home, it is up to you to take that responsibility for what has happened to you and to get healing for yourself. We all have baggage, all of us. And this is part of life. That is part of growing as a person. And then you've mentioned here that you are not taking care of yourself. So I totally get it, because when you don't have capacity, everything feels heavy, everything just feels daunting, everything feels uncertain for you at the moment. So the last thing on your mind is to take care of yourself, and you don't have the capacity for yourself. And the self-care is definitely last on the list, but. So you, my dear, you are responsible for yourself first. Why? Because the rest will follow. It really will follow. And here is my advice. Start by working on your self-awareness. So what I mean by that is you have to turn inwardly. You have to turn towards yourself. Why do I say that? It is not selfish. Self-care is not selfish, because it is you having to live with yourself 24 hours a day. You are going to bed with you every night. You wake up with you every morning. So if you don't turn towards yourself, you are going to miss this opportunity that your relationship is trying to reveal to you, where in some area of your life you still need to heal from. And if you don't, you are going to take this need that is still inside of you just into your next relationship. Because relationships are there to reveal your triggers to you. So you need to become self-aware of what it is that you need from your partner. You need to become self-aware of what needs do I have that is not getting met, that is not getting fulfilled. And you need to ask yourself, what do I want? What do I need in this? Again, I'm going to say to you, self-care is not selfish. It is there to bring out these triggers inside of you to reveal to you where you are not free. So can I be brutally honest with you? The problem is not with your husband, with your wife, with your partner. The problem is with you. The problem is with your unmet needs as a child from your parents. And now it is playing out in your marriage because you are expecting your husband or your partner to fulfill those needs. But in reality, they can't. Because guess what? They are sitting with their own needs that are not being met and that are unfulfilled. And that is where this chaos is coming in. So again, let's test the theory. Do you ever have the same conversation over and over again with your partner about the same topic? It is like a dance that you dance every single time. Nothing is changing. You don't feel heard. You need to say the same things over and over again. This topic comes back all of the time, right? So ready for some clarity? You are not fighting about playing golf every Saturday. He's playing golf every Saturday with his mates. Or you are fighting because she is going out with her friends again, or about him being too much on his phone. That is not what you are fighting about. You are not fighting about certain things. You are fighting for certain things. That is where it comes in. So you need to turn towards yourself and to find out what it is that I need in this moment. So I myself felt very alone in my marriage. He was never there emotionally for me, so it made me feel alone. But why did I feel so intensely alone all the time? Because deep down, the underlying issue for me was my mom used to be the main breadwinner for the home. And she never had enough time for me as a child because she had to work all the time. And this had a major influence on our marriage for years. And this is another truth that I want to give you. Don't look at the circumstances. Don't look at the story. Don't look at the frustration, because that is not where the issue is. It is not about the dirty house. Look at what is the emotion that sits behind it. That is where the key lies. So the question is, do you have to make a decision? Yes. My advice to you is to start with yourself. Do the work first and then make a decision about whether you need to go or whether you want to stay. But again, turn the focus towards yourself. The moment that one of you start to work on yourself, the atmosphere in the home automatically changes. That is why it is so important to start with yourself. So I hope this helped you. Send me your questions to Ask for Clarity, and I will gladly do so. Go and follow me on YouTube, and I will see you next week again.